I'm Mara. I'm excited to share my story with you today. I grew up in Eastern Europe, in Romania, in a small town, family of educators. My grandmothers have been public school teachers, my mom as well. I have gone to public schools, so I have internalized a lot of frustration towards all the big problems in public education and in public schools. So as a result of this, all my work so far has been focused on K-12. So when I was 16, I started focusing on financial literacy in Eastern Europe, spent most of my high school years working on that, then took a gap year before coming to the US for college to focus on entrepreneurship education in Eastern European schools. And then once I came to the US, I focused on affordable college admissions counseling in public schools from here, from the US. And then I came to Stanford, and currently I'm an MBA and an MA in education in the School of Education, and I asked myself, what are the biggest challenges in public schools right now? What should I be focusing on? And it very quickly became obvious that the biggest challenges are in special education. So why is that? First, you have massive demand for special needs services. 1 in 5 students in the US have special education needs, and these numbers are quickly increasing every year. At the same time, special ed is the most litigious area of education. You have a lot of lawsuits, you have a lot of complex federal legislation placed on schools, and there's a lot of compliance pressures. So there's huge demand for special needs services. However, when you look at the supply, 1 in 2 schools in the US have special education vacancies. It's not just that, but if you look at special education teachers, they have the highest churn among all teaching professions. No one really wants to go into this profession. So as an effect of these huge problems, you see current special education teachers are overworked and overwhelmed. And this is just some data from Reddit. There's a lot of pressure on them, a lot of compliance and paperwork issues. But they're not the only ones suffering. If you look at school districts in the US, they are forced to recruit underprepared and untrained staff. No one really wants to go into these jobs. And if you look at schools in California, they have actually been bringing people from the Philippines to fill in special education roles in California schools, which is just crazy, and it shows the magnitude of this problem. So as a result of this, I asked myself a lot, how can we use AI to maximize the efficiency and effectiveness of special educators in the US? What can we do about this? It's obviously a huge problem, and where should we begin? So this is a pretty tough and complex question, and thankfully I have received a lot of support from CSI and from Stanford so far as I've been working on answering this question. This spring, I took the Lean Launchpad class. Steve Blank was one of my professors, and basically we've done a lot of customer discovery. We were pushed to go out in schools around the US and understand the problem on the ground. So as a result of this, we have run over 150 interviews with special education teachers, school district directors, special education parents, to deeply understand the pain point and understand how each segment is suffering as part of this problem. Given everything we learned by being in schools, we have built a minimum viable product to understand and validate some of our initial hypotheses and tested that in 20 classrooms across the US for special education. Thankfully, we have had incredibly positive results from all the teachers who have used our MVP, and that kind of validated as part of Lean Launchpad that yes, we were on the right track, we should build something in this space. So we moved onwards, and we won the Learning Design Challenge organized by the Stanford School of Education. We also have received the CSI small grant, and overall got about like 10K, which helped us cover all the costs for building a product, for covering AI costs, team costs, and we ended up building an AI platform for special education, instruction, and compliance for K-12 schools. So we covered the end-to-end use cases for special education, all the way from instruction and compliance to help schools alleviate this massive challenge. Then, thankfully, we have received the ID fellowship offered by the CSI as well, which has allowed us to expand our testing and close major district partnerships. So far, our product has been used by Pleasanton Unified School District, which is a major school district here in California, and another school district in Washington, Issaquah School District in Seattle. So as you can see, Stanford has been extremely helpful as we've been tackling with this big challenge of how do we maximize efficiency and effectiveness in special education in the US. And we're really grateful to be continuing this journey. But now, coming to a close, you might ask yourself, okay, so what? What am I leaving with after this talk? And I think the big insight that I want to share is that a lot of people are talking about how AI is going to revolutionize education, and I really hope it does, but I would argue that in order for AI to be truly adopted within education at scale and by teachers, it has to start by tackling some of the most serious, pressing challenges in education, not the must. I would argue that personalizing instruction is a nice to have, but whereas like special education compliance is a must have. So my big question for you is like, consider the must haves of education, and let's begin with those as we're getting AI into education. And if anyone here is interested in starting with special education and getting AI into special ed, I would love to talk more. Thank you.